Welcome back, folks. We've got the TrackIR situation under control, so we're back and we're just starting from scratch. So we have power on the aircraft. I'm looking at the overhead. Battery number 1 on. Battery number 2 on. External power, I'll take it. Kick up the rheostat for these integrity lights. Arm the emergency exit. No smoking sign on. Seatbelt sign on. Nav lights on to either 1 or 2. Wing lights on. ADIR system number 1 to nav. ADIR system number 2 to nav. ADIR system number 3 to nav. Do a fire check on the APU. That tests fine. Do a smoke check in the cargo bay. That tests fine, and we'll go down to our McDo. Here we're on the company menu, ATSU, AOC menu, initialize. We'll request the data from the dispatch office. Seattle to Vancouver. Again, that private concerns me a little bit, but we are flight number 43. I think ATC is going to be fine. 9.5 is our fuel on board. Of course, we've got a lot more than that, so I'll kind of go to the fuel page. I'm sorry, 9.6. That is correct. We don't need that much fuel. So let's go to our weight and balance page. Block fuel should be 4713. We'll load that, and now you can see our fuel on board has changed accordingly. Next page over, here's 169 passengers. There's our center of gravity. There's our zero fuel weight. Here's our baggage load and our payload, and we'll put that load on the aircraft. Go to data. Aircraft status. LEAP 1A, 26,000 pound rated engines. Our AIRAC cycle is current. We will go to initiate request. There we go. Vancouver to Seattle. Portland as an alternate. The tropopause, I'm not going to check that out because it's way higher than we need to worry about. We're not going to be anywhere near that altitude. Flight level 170 is all we're expecting. 85, I'll change the cost index to get us there a little less efficiently. And we'll bring our zero fuel weight over and our center of gravity. What did I say our fuel was? I've already forgotten. 4.6. There's our trip fuel requirements plus our extra fuel at destination. We'll go to flight plan. We are leaving CYVR. I don't know what runway we'll use. Let's get an ATIS.
Vancouver Airport information, Yankee 1000 Zulu. Wind 062 at Fife. Visibility greater than 20 miles. Sky condition, few clouds at 600 feet, a few clouds at 4,200 feet, a few clouds at 12,000 feet. Temperature, niner. Dew point, 10. QNH tray 0.20. ILS runway 8 left and ILS runway 8 right in use. Landing and departing runway 8 left and runway 8 right. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact, you have Yankee.
Vancouver clearance delivery, American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree ready to copy IFR clearance to Seattle.
American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree is cleared to Seattle Airport as filed. Takeoff runway at right climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 132 decimal tree squawk 6111.
American Papa Victor Tango 4-3 cleared to Seattle Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 8 right climb and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure on 1-2 squawk 6111.
American Papa Victor Tango 4-3 readback is correct. Contact ground on 127.15 when ready to taxi.
Yeah, I'm not happy with that private 43 either. I wanted to find a way of just eliminating that entirely. I'm just going to suffer with it today. I know I've done it before. There's a very simple way of getting rid of that, just so it says American 4-3. Goodness. I think she said 33020 or somewhere in that neighborhood for our QNH setting. It's pretty high. Okay, flight directors on, constraints on, flight directors on, constraints on, and it's about ready to it's about time to run a checklist.
Before start checklist.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins and covers.
Removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
Adairs.
Nav.
Fuel quantity.
Set.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Barrel ref.
3020. Set.
3020. Set. Down to the line.
Let's start setting up.
Okay.
Okay, cabin crew in the back is doing their thing. We're doing pretty well up here. Let's get the APU fired up. Fuel pumps on. Crew oxygen on. We'll do a fire test on the number 1 engine. We'll do a fire test on the number 2 engine. We will push the APU, beacon on. Push the APU start button. 1, 2, 3. APU start. APU bleed air for the engines. We'll do a emergency lights to arm. And we'll do an annunciator light test. Every light in the house. Every bulb, every LED element. Every light we want to check. See if there's any light bulbs that are burned out. Up and down and all around. Looks like it's good. Light test off. Let's go to our EFIS screen, monitor the APU progress. APU is available. Now that APU is available, we can go off of ground power. Bleed for the engines. Everything up here looks good.
Hi, the security and safety check are all done. Are we good to start boarding?
Yes, you can start boarding.
Okay.
Let's get these fine folks aboard. Right is our takeoff runway. So let's finish our McDo programming. From Vancouver, departure on 8 right. No SID. Insert. And 3-4 right is going to be our arrival runway in Seattle. And nose star Insert. Looks pretty good. Now we'll go to our performance calculation now that we have a runway 8 right for departure. Okay, remember this is information that we have to come up with off the cuff since we don't have our A320 takeoff calculator. 56 is going to be my back of my head flex temp number to give our D-rated takeoff, and flap setting of 1 and stabilizer trim of 0.0 down. That's another number I made up because I don't have the calculation. Transition altitude is 18,000. There's our V2 speed, the rotate, and V1. A little low, but acceptable. Next phase, next phase, next phase. Looks good. We're going to hold off on these approach fields until we get closer to our destination. Here's our routing. We're looking for runway 34 on the arrival. I'd like an ILS if I can get one. ILS 34 right is what I want. There we go. Here on the radio page, what I want is the localizer frequency of 110.3 and the course is 344. That is finished. Now that we've got our APU running, I think we can continue the back half of that checklist.
Below the line.
Windows and doors.
Closed.
Are you sure about that?
Up.
Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
Are you sure about that? Parking brake.
On.
Before start, checklist complete.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on board today. As you locate your assigned seats, please place your smaller items under the seat in front of you to provide more room for larger items in our overhead compartments. If you need assistance, contact a flight attendant. If you are unable to accommodate any item in the cabin, please bring it to the boarding door and we will check it for you. Also, review the safety instruction card in your seat pocket. If you are seated at an exit seat, also review the exit seating criteria.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen, from the flight deck. This is the captain speaking. On behalf of the entire flight crew and myself, I'd like to welcome you aboard today's flight. Our flight attendants are there for your comfort, but more importantly for your safety, so please give them a few minutes of your undivided attention while they go over the safety features of this aircraft. Once the boarding process is complete, we'll get the cabin door closed and push off the gate for an on-time departure. In the meantime, please sit back, relax, enjoy the ride. Welcome aboard.
Let's talk to the folks on the ground.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We will be ready shortly.
Okay, I will hold.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
Confirm all ground checks complete. We're cleared to pressurize the hydraulics.
All ground checks are complete and you're clear to pressurize the hydraulics.
Hey guys, are we clear to close?
Yes.
Thanks. Let me know if you need anything.
And as you folks know, one of the things about working with the default air traffic control is I can't request a pushback, so I have to man and do that myself. Seattle ground, American 4-tree, request pushback and engine start. American 4-tree, Seattle ground, pushback and engine start approved. Engine start and pushback approved. American 4-tree. Doors are closed. Equipment is removed. Let's get that pushback.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead, flight deck.
We are ready for pushback and engine start.
Roger. Release the parking brakes, please.
Parking brakes released.
Push him back. You are clear behind and you can start your engines at your discretion.
Thank you. Engine start switch on.
Starting engine 2. Starting engine 1.
Pushback complete. Set
Once
parking
again, ladies
brakes,
and
please.
gentlemen, welcome on board our flight.
Parking
today.
brakes set.
This is the
Roger.
flight
Okay, the
attendant
tow bar
speaking.
is
Please
disconnected
direct your
and the
attention to
equipment
the
is
cabin
clear.
crew
We will
for
see you on the right-hand side with the
There is
pin.
an
Thanks, and you can
instruction
disconnect
card
and go to
in your
hand
seat
signals.
pocket that
Thanks.
illustrates
Have a
the
good
safety
flight. See you
equipment
later.
on this aircraft. Regulations require compliance with this information as well as all crew instructions, lighted information signs, and posted placards. Fasten your seatbelt by inserting the metal tip into the buckle. Tighten by pulling on the belt. To release your seatbelt, lift the metal flap on the buckle. It is our policy that you keep your seatbelt fastened at all times while seated. Doors are clearly marked with exit signs and instructions for door operation. Each door is equipped with an escape slide. Locate the exit nearest you. The nearest exit may be behind you. In an emergency, lights will illuminate the aisle. The cabin is pressurized. If there is a loss of cabin pressure, a panel will open and oxygen masks will appear. Remain seated with your seatbelt fastened and pull a mask toward you to start the flow of oxygen. Oxygen will be flowing to the mask even though the bag may not inflate. Cover your nose and mouth with the mask. Place the elastic band around your head and tighten by pulling on the ends. Secure your own mask before assisting others. Your seat bottom cushion may be used as a flotation device. Pull up and remove the cushion. Upon exiting the aircraft, place your arms around the cushion and hold on to the straps located on the back. This is a non-smoking flight. Smoking is not
Vancouver
permitted
ground,
in the cabin
American
or
Papa Victor
lavatory.
Tango 43 with
Cabin
Yankee
lights
ready
will
to
now be
taxi
turned
IFR.
off. Reading light buttons are located above your
American
seat.
Papa
Thank you
Victor
for your
Tango
attention.
43 taxi to and hold short of runway 8 right using taxiway Echo Delta 1 cross runway tree 1 Alpha.
Cabin crew arm slides and cross check.
11.55 when ready.
Taxi to and hold short runway 8 right via taxiway Echo Delta 1 cross runway tree 1 Alpha American Papa Victor Tango 43.
After start checklist.
Anti-ice.
Set.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
26% set.
Rudder trim.
0.
After start checklist complete.
Flight control check.
Full down. Full up. Neutral. Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Rudder.
Full right. Full left. Neutral.
Your turn.
Clear left side.
Clear right side.
Brake check.
Pressure 0.
Okay. I don't see where we are. I think we're over here somewhere. There we are. we're looking for runway 8 right. So let's taxi ahead to G, down to L, cross, and then we will be at 8 right. This should be L. Oops. I want to be going. I want to be going the other way. I want to be going here to the right. Not in the grass, however. And we should be right here near the end of 8 right.
Before takeoff checklist.
Flight controls.
Checked.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Checked.
Checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
Config 2.
Config 2. V1. VR. V2. Flex temp.
V1 130 VR 140 V2 150
V1 130 VR 140 V2 150 ATC.
set.
ECAM memo.
Takeoff no blue.
Down to the line.
Progressive wind shear system is on. Transponder to the TARA mode. Spoilers are armed. Brakes are maximum. takeoff lights. All lights are on. Let's ding the cabin. Test our configuration. Tests normal. Once we inch just a little bit further, we ought to have the option for takeoff on 8 right. See the takeoff option on the radio. This is indeed the beginning of 8 right. Oh, I just saw it just before I changed it. I saw the option. There we go. Press takeoff.
Vancouver Tower American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree ready for IFR departure runway 8 right.
American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree cleared for takeoff runway 8 right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 8 right. American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree.
Below the line.
Cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Takeoff runway.
Confirmed.
Confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Packs.
On.
Before takeoff checklist complete.
Ready.
Ready.
Takeoff. Man flex, SRS, runway, auto thrust blue.
Check.
Throttle to 50%. Engage toga. Oh,
Thrust set.
don't know why we're getting that. Speed brake not retracted.
$100 knots.
Check.
V1. Rotate. Positive climb.
Gear up.
Gear up.
Flaps 1.
Speed check.
Victor Tango 4 tree contact Vancouver departure on 1 tree.
Flaps
clear
1.
decimal tree.
Flap 0.
Speed check. Flaps 0.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
American Papa Victor
Don't
Tango
sink.
4 tree please
Too low,
acknowledge.
terrain.
Don't sink.
Too low, 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 terrain.
Don't sink.
Ah,
Too low,
come on.
terrain.
Don't sink.
Too low, terrain.
Don't sink.
Too low, terrain.
Don't sink.
Too low, terrain.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
American
Don't sink.
Papa Victor Tango 4
Don't
tree
sink.
please acknowledge.
Don't sink. Don't sink. Don't sink.
Too low, terrain.
Don't
1
sink.
tree 2 decimal
Too
tree
low,
for
terrain.
American
Don't
Papa
sink.
Victor Tango 4
Too
tree.
low, terrain.
Don't sink.
Too 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 low. Terrain.
Don't sink.
So we had a
Too
few
low.
things
Terrain.
going
Don't
on
sink.
there.
Don't sink.
We had a throttle setting that was too low, so we didn't have the airspeed. And we're still well below airspeed. And we had some type of spoiler issue that I never did resolve. But as soon as we left the ground, the spoiler issue shouldn't have been an issue at all. And because of those issues, when I went to engage the autopilot would not engage. So now the autopilot is bringing us on course. We're still slow. And we're still very low. But we have the speed we need. The climb, our levers in the climb position. So we should be on our way. Sorry for the drama. What's life without a little drama? Hint of sunrise on the horizon.
After takeoff, climb checklist.
Landing gear.
Up.
Flaps.
Retracted.
Packs.
On.
Down to the line. .250 knots at 4,700 feet. It's only 18-minute air flight from Vancouver to Seattle, but we are approaching from the south on runway 34 right, which means that we've got to fly past Seattle, fly past the airport, fly past even Tacoma, Washington, but not as far as Olympia, Washington. And then just in the downtown Tacoma area, we'll do a hook maneuver and line up for our intended runway. At 1,200 feet per minute. That was a commanded vertical speed. Now I am using a managed vertical speed, and we are climbing a lot more aggressively under managed mode. Approaching 10,000 feet. Turn off some of these lights. Turn off the continuous fire on the engine. Approaching our target altitude. Let's go into approach phase. On the QNH. Temperature, I think it's still 8. Wind was 070 at 5. Transition altitude is 18,000 feet. And decision height will be 200 AGL. Oops. There we go. .4:47 a.m. local time.
below the line.
Vero ref.
Standard set.
Standard set. After takeoff checklist complete.
We didn't actually go to standard because we never crossed 18,000 feet. But I wanted to get beyond that portion of the checklist.
You have control.
I have control.
So here's our routing.
Seattle Center, American Papa Victor Tango 43, 13,000 feet.
American Papa Victor Tango 43 Seattle Center, continuous planned. QNH tray 0.14. American Papa Victor Tango 43, you are 46 miles northwest. Maintain present heading and altitude, expect ILS runway 34 left approach via SONDR transition. Clear to SONDR.
We were just given 3-4 left. I was expecting
American
3-4
Papa
right.
Victor Tango 43 climbed and maintain 15,000 feet.
Climb and maintain 15,000 feet. Expect ILS runway 34 left approach via Suntra transition. Cleared to Suntra, American Papa Victor Tango 43.
Okay, I was expecting 3-4 right, and now I have to figure for 3-4 left.
American Papa Victor Tango 43 descend and maintain 9,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 9,000 feet. American Papa Victor Tango 43.
Papa Victor Tango 4 tree descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 6,000 feet. American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree.
Okay. I want... Three, four left. 110.75 is my new frequency.
American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree, contact Seattle Center on 128.5. American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree, acknowledge last transmission.
128.5 American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree.
Okay, very good.
Seattle Center, American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree is out of 11,800 feet for 6,000 feet.
American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree, Seattle Center. Continue to SO in the air as planned. QNH tree 0.12. American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree, contact approach on 125.6. .6
American Papa Victor Tango 4 tree.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be arriving at our destination shortly. If you are making a connection to another flight, please see the customer service agent meeting this flight or video monitors inside the terminal for connecting gate information. For your continued safety, flight attendants will now walk through the cabin to secure it for landing. We'll be collecting all service items, newspapers, and any other items you wish to discard or may not be taking off the aircraft with you. Also, in preparation for landing, please turn off all electronic devices. Stow these devices and all other carry-on items. Please use caution when opening overhead bins, as items may have shifted during our flight. Please stow your tray tables and return your seats to their upright position and check the security of your seat belts. We will be landing shortly. Thank you.
Approach American Papa Victor Tango 43 is out of 8,200 feet for 6,000 feet.
American Papa Victor Tango 43 approach. Continue to Sunburn as planned. QNH 30.18.
I have control.
You have control.
Approach checklist.
Briefing.
Confirmed.
ECAM status.
Checked.
Vero ref.
3018. Set.
3018. Set. Minimum.
Set.
Set. Engine mode selector.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
Flaps 1.
Speed checked. Flaps 1.
there's a runway just ahead of us that might look tempting. We're actually at a good altitude to make an approach on it, but that's not our runway. I don't know what runway that is. Every runway in the Pacific Northwest is always oriented north-south. I don't know why that is either. Prevailing winds are often north-south because of the mountains mostly. But you would think that they would have a few runways with an east-west configuration just in case. But they don't. Every airport is always north-south. Unlike yesterday when we were hoping to get an ILS into Vancouver, we never got one. The ILS signal here in Seattle is very strong, and we're coming abeam of our glide slope intersect point. So when we are heading almost 180 degrees from us, at this point is where we would be capturing the glide slope. We're kind of on our downwind leg, and it is a true downwind because we're getting a wind 130 at 5 knots, so we're getting a headwind. We're going to have a 5-knot tailwind once we get on final. I guess the air traffic controllers have not deemed it necessary to change runways yet. That's the outer marker.
American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree descend and maintain 5,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 5,000 feet. American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree.
Flaps 2.
Speed checked. Flaps 2.
upon target altitude. There's majestic Mount Rainier just ahead of us, about 65 miles or so southeast of the Seattle metro area. Speed brakes, automatic brakes medium, spoilers armed. Localizer is alive. Choose localizer intercept on the MCP panel. We have localizer. I'm going to go to approach on the MCP panel. I'm going to try to go to dual autopilot. I have dual autopilot.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Flaps 3.
Speed checked. Flaps 3.
Flaps full.
Speed checked.
Flaps full.
Cabin crew, be seated for landing.
Landing checklist.
Cabin crew,
Advised.
auto thrust,
Speed.
auto brake,
Low.
ECAM memo.
Landing. No blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Approaching glide slope intercept.
American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree descend and maintain 4,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet. American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree.
I'm going to hold 5,000 until glide slope intercept and let the glide slope bring us down. We have glide slope intercept. Boy, I don't like being on 3-4 left. It means a really long taxi. I'm lazy. I wanted 3-4 right, so it just boom off the runway and into a gate. No such luck.
American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree, you are 14 miles south of Seattle. Contact Seattle Tower on 120.905 when inbound on the approach.
Tower on 120.905. American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree. Seattle Tower, American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree, 1 miles south inbound ILS runway 34 left approach.
American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree, Seattle Tower. Cleared ILS runway 34 left approach. QNH 30.13 wind calm.
Cleared ILS runway 34 left approach. American Papa Victor Tango 4-tree.
Seattle Tower Delta 4851 3 miles south inbound ILS runway 34 left approach. Delta 485 Seattle Tower. Cleared ILS runway 34 left approach. QNH 30.10 wind 065 at 5.
There's an aircraft right behind us.
Cleared ILS runway 34 left approach. Delta 485.
Like they're heading to the same piece of pavement that we are.
Check.
5.
I didn't give you butt skis.
American Papa Victor Tango 4 Tree, acknowledge last transmission.
Cleared to land runway tree 4 left, American Papa Victor Tango 4 Tree.
I'm getting caught in your wake, aren't I? Yeah, it's a little bit of wake turbulence. I love the way that's modeled. I don't like being in it, but I love the way it's modeled. We'll see how the autopilot deals with it.
Checked.
I'd like to say stabilized, but not really. This is a good case study why it's a good idea to be 10 knots above approach speed. I think that Delta plane ahead of us landed halfway down the runway. Meanwhile, we'll be lucky to make the threshold.
500. 400.
Auto land. Cat
300.
Cat 3 dual auto land. Doesn't get any prettier, but
200.
it's looking pretty nasty. I don't know why I'm saying continue, but continue.
Minimum
Continue.
200.
Continue.
Minimum 200.
American Papa Victor Tango 4 Tree, go around.
No, I'm not going to go around.
Delta
100.
485 exit runway when able.
50. 30. 20. Retard. Retard.
Spoilers, reverse green, decel. knots.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the conclusion of our flight. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain has turned off the seatbelt sign of the aircraft compartment. Thank you, Captain Lee. This will be your indication that it's safe to consult the cabin captain report. We'd like to thank you for flying with us today. We appreciate your visit. We'll see you again on a future flight.
Getting too much jerkiness. I don't want to taxi in with all this jerkiness. So I'm going to end the stream. Wish you folks a good day, and I hope you enjoyed me on another flight. Have a great afternoon.